Welcome to the Launchpad, where ideas lift off.
Tonight on the Launchpad.
Now we're here to ask for $100,000.
Who actually writes the check or pays for your product?
Yeah. They were asking the same thing.
So what shop?
How am I going to bring the money in?
This is the only question that we never prepared for when we came on the show.
Yeah.
We have a 500% margin on this device.
How much?
500% margin on this device.
And what's the retail?
Is that your own? You have IP
yeah,
on that?
we created that from scratch, yeah.
Do you have IP on that?
Just who are the advisors? They are the trusted industry experts tasked with the very important job of finding the next big business venture for the investor. Kobe Yogaratnam, the UK-based outspoken entrepreneur, has founded and affiliated with several startups and has business interests in 3 continents. He's a shrewd new age serial entrepreneur with 10 years of experience in business management consulting at some of the premier corporations in the world. Manjula Selvaraja is a seasoned startup executive, journalist, and engineer. In her former role, she was the vice president of marketing and an early employee at a Toronto startup that went on to become one of the top 10 tech IPOs of 2012, valued at just under $1 billion. Carolyn Path is a system and computing engineer with over 10 years professional consulting experience in the software development industry across various verticals such as telecommunications, finance, and healthcare. She is also the co-founder and CEO of Le Petit Trois. Bahisan Selvaraja is a software professional and an information systems architecture and design consultant for one of the 5 biggest banks in Canada. His passion for entrepreneurship stems from the early days of his career. He strongly believes in Tamil youth and giving back to the community.
Hello, advisors. I'm entrusting you with $1 million in funding to find the next big business venture for Ideal Incubator. I'll be watching. Good luck.
I'm here backstage with Professor Graffam, who's here to support Ravi. So, Professor, how do you know him?
He came out to the hub, and the hub is the incubator in which he's been working. And he arrived about a week after I'd opened the doors to the place. And he was telling me, oh, I have this great idea. I've had this idea. I've wanted to work on this idea. And from that point on, we had a great way of getting started. He wanted to get moving with things, and so it was a matter of introducing him to how to get started with a startup and giving him feedback about his idea on Mappian and watching that transform and evolve and take form. One of the things about Ravi, he doesn't quit. He doesn't give up. That he's got this passion for doing this, and it is strong and it is there, and he's going to make this thing succeed. And it's passion. That passion is going to make him really go far in life.
That's really great to hear. Thank you so much. Let's see how he does.
10 young entrepreneurs compete for the chance to win up to $1 million in funding to help bring their ideas to life. The better their pitch, the higher their chances of fast-tracking to the final round. Whose idea will lift off on Ideal Incubator's Launchpad?
Well, it looks like contestant number 1 is ready. Hello, contestant number 1. Okay, contestant number 1 also happens to be my older brother, Ravi. So Ravi, I know you pitched before, but never in front of cameras. Are you nervous at all?
Not really. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go.
Okay, well, me, mom, and dad will be cheering for you.
All right, you better.
So good luck.
My name is Ravi Ravindran, and I guess you can say I work as an entrepreneur. Basically, I'm starting a new division at a company called Technion. Technion builds custom-made interiors for offices like Google, Apple, and government agencies. So Mappian is a social network that's geared on a map. And what's different about this is it filters content by location. It makes you the center of your own world, whereas everything's happening around you. You open it up, you see a map, and you see things happening around you. Our tagline is to be globally local. Wherever you go, be local to your environment. So this is actually my 3rd company I've started in 7 years. Right? I've done a lot of entrepreneurial things. I've been to numerous amount of like business, technology, and entrepreneurship competitions and conferences all around the world. Throughout my journey, I guess I've met hundreds of entrepreneurs. Right? A lot of Tamil entrepreneurs, a lot of women entrepreneurs, a lot of minority entrepreneurs who feel like they don't have much access, same kind of access as others, more mainstream entrepreneurs, I guess, to capital, to resources, to mentorship even. And to see the Tamil community coming together and building something like this where I can engage on a platform of other Tamil professionals, right, and reach into a network that's very much like my own, right? I think that is much more engaging to me. And for me, it's a way to show off my ideas, my skill sets, and be able to have a launch into the next stage of world innovation.
Ravi enters the launch pad with a timely idea of connecting people to events by location. Will the judges connect to his idea?
Welcome to the Launchpad.
Thank you for having me.
How do you feel?
I feel great. Excited to begin.
Ready? Good. Well, we want to hear what you have. Go ahead.
Great. Well, good afternoon, judges. My name is Ravi, and I'm here to talk about Mappian, a map-based social network. So currently, on university campuses, students are having a real hard time keeping track of what's going on around them. Unless you're following on all social networks, your friends, your colleagues, clubs, associations, teams, it's very hard to keep track of all the events and social gatherings happening. And what we found is that there might be a better way to display this information. So we asked a few students to tell us about one particular day, whatever they found important. So one student talked about the things that she found interesting on the way to school. One talked about what happened in class. Another one talked about the events and gatherings that happened around campus. And so on, until little by little, each person added their story, until we had an overview of everything that happened that one day. And this way of displaying information on a map seemed like a great idea. So we imagined what it would look like if we had a mobile app, where we're in the center of our own world and could see where things are happening from our perspective, from where we are. And that is Mappian. Mappian puts you in the center of your world, where you see things are happening around you in relative distance to you. So you see your friends are here, what's happening 5 feet away, what's happening 10 feet away, what's happening around the corner, upstairs, downstairs, on the next campus building. And this completely changes the way information is being shared right now. So when you launch the app, a map comes up of your immediate surroundings. And you see posts posted around you. When you click on a post, you can see which ones are your friends and which ones are not, and you can keep track of what's going on. And when you click on a post, it brings up more information about that, whatever has been posted, but also builds a customized feed of everything that happens around that particular post. So when you find out that this is like they're handing out free coffee in the yard, 5 meters away from that, what's happening? 10 meters away, what's happening? 20 meters away from that, what's happening? It builds a feed based on location, and it builds a visual image of everything that's going on in that area. Now, we actually worked in exclusive partnership with Google and with the University of Toronto, and we mapped out the internal structures of the campuses. So now when you go on Google Maps, you can actually see the floor by floor, layer by layer of every school building on UFT property, and you can see which classrooms are, where the hallways are. And what that does for a Mappian is it allows students to post things by room, by floor, by building. Now, for the last 2 years, though, I've been running our research. We gathered over 2,000 likes on Facebook, 800 followers, but also we tested directly with 300 testers who have signed up to be our first users. Now, university students are the most easily identifiable market segment. You step on a campus and you can find them. What we plan to do is launch a competition when we launch our app at each particular university. We're going to partner with all the associations, clubs, sports teams, and pit them against each other to find out who can sign up most people on under their own pages on the app. and who can engage the population better. And whoever wins, will give them a $500 prize that they can spend on whatever activity they want. And we're going to replicate this process on 8 of the biggest universities in Ontario. And then eventually, we're going to pit them against each other to see who has the most engaged populace, who has more things going on campus, whose student body likes what's going on campus. And whoever has the most engagement, we're going to sponsor a $5,000 event. We're working with their student union. Now, on average, any user will be worth about $38 to a particular social network. That means the 450,000 Ontario students is a market of worth $1.5 million. With the global student market, it's $500 million. Currently, this is how information is displayed on the social networks that students are subscribing to. It's all by time. There's nothing that allows them to filter information by this level of specificity to their current location. They can't target themselves and show what's happening right around me. But uniquely, what we can offer is an ad buying system for small and large businesses to provide highly targeted, but also highly localized ads. So when students are walking around on campus or downtown, can be engaged for different vicinities. But also uniquely, we want to work with mobile businesses. Imagine a food truck or a mobile butcher shop, laptop repair, being able to have people follow wherever they travel around the city. And whenever they're around, the fans can be notified saying that, hey, if your food truck's here. Or you can just watch them move around the map. And we're going to offer a package for these services. Now, we're here to ask for $100,000. But uniquely, because we're graduating out of UFT's incubator program, we are qualified for a $60,000 Smart Start grant from the Ontario government that matches your funds and provides us with more capital to give you guys a better return. Any questions?
Wow.
That was a great pitch.
Yeah,
Ravi.
great presentation.
I really, really enjoyed if you carried on for another 10 minutes, I would have actually still been really into it. That's right up my alley. I really like that style of presentation, and your product is great. It's really, really good.
I have a question, quite fundamental. I have a question, quite fundamental. Throughout your presentation, you mostly spoke about the consumers of your product.
Yeah.
Who actually writes the check or pays for your product?
Well, for most social networks, the actual value is the size of the network, right? So when we say each user is worth $38 to a network, that's future ad revenue. That's potential revenue you can make. That's on average. But our location-based system, some are quoted, we have actually got quotes that will give us $100 per student, right? Per user, sorry. Meaning that this is the potential revenue each person can bring to the network. So we don't necessarily have to engage the revenue stream right now, but whenever we do, the larger the network we have established, the more ad revenue we can gain.
But don't you think your user base is still capped at the university itself, and also your advertisers are going to be only surrounded or the locale of your university only, and you cannot grow beyond that?
But I think that's actually a good thing, because he's actually providing specific user database, a database to specific people that you're going to be selling adverts to and things
Actually,
like that.
I was under the impression that you're going after those folks because you think they may be early adopters. Am I right? That you're thinking that there's a larger market, but you're is that it? Or is this just a product meant for colleges and universities long term?
Well, in 4 years, they're going to graduate, right? So initially, this is a way of reaching out to a consumer base that's highly connected already, right? Okay. But eventually, we can move into high school students. We can move into other networks, right? More other local communities. It can be used for so many different things. And the idea is scalability. Once we hit those caps, right, we can move on into other networks and slowly start building. And the idea of capping it off to university students is to build close networks. Because people are going to go on this because their friends are on this, people on their campus on this.
Right, so that's where my contradiction is. That you're saying your revenue model is based off user base, but that itself is going to hurt when you are capping out. So there is no potential for your product to grow unless you make a sale to some other place.
Well, it's not about a particular sale. It's about working with large-scale ad buyers, right? So we're not going to provide ads ourselves. We can make a platform later on, But there are already consumers out there who have worked with thousands of companies who make customized ads for them. We're pretty much opening up our platform saying, make ads for us and give us a share of every time somebody clicks on an ad. All right? This kind of model is very long-term growth strategy. We need a larger user base. But to supplement that, we have the revenue model from mobile businesses, from food trucks, from mobile butcher shops, from mobile repair shops.
And this is the hyperlocal advertising area, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay.
So are you solely focused on universities at this point?
For now, for our launch strategy, we want to focus on a market that's already closely connected and easily identifiable, and we can go ahead and get into.
Just being devil's advocate here, Ravi.
Yeah.
What's the difference between me going on Instagram, checking into a place, and then searching that place? Because I've just got a geotag for a local area and seeing all pictures and descriptions. And this is now a wider network. This is just not my friends. This is everyone in that area that's put a picture in that specific geotag. And I can create a geotag on any single spot wherever I am, including, you know, the canteen of the university or in a lab or something. What's the difference there?
Well, interesting enough, you brought up Instagram. Instagram actually, before it started the photo filtering app, it was actually a location-based application. It's actually built into that. And you can do that, but it's a very wide area, right? You search a particular hashtag, right, or geocode, and you can get that. But with ours, it's literally UI that engages with the populace. It really shows you this is where it's happening, and you are here, and around you this is happening. I want to be able to show people this is what's happening 5 feet from you, 10 meters. Nothing gives you that kind of level of like particular distance.
Right. Okay.
Right. And the idea is to build into a larger network. Once we go from Ontario schools, move into Canadian schools, U.S., South America, and so forth.
Okay. No, that's great. Okay, Ravi, we're gonna just wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Give us about 5 minutes. We're just gonna have a chat between us,
Perfect.
and we'll ask you to come back, and we'll speak to you a bit further about this and go from there.
All right.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Great presentation. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Great job.
Welcome back, Ravi. Thanks for giving us some time to discuss this further. We had a few more questions that we'd like to ask you just to learn a bit more about Mappian. And let's kick that off, Carolyn.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you had 2,000 likes. I was just curious as to over what period of time did you collect those 2,000 likes over?
So our initial first Facebook campaign started about 2 years ago. And this happened over 6 months. So what happened is through our time at our incubator at the Hub at the University of Toronto, we competed in a lot of competitions. We presented over 6 different prototypes before we came to this model that we came up with. And over that time, we gathered a lot of interest.
So did you see a quick ramp up of likes over that period of time, or was it just the initial, when you launched it, you got the 2,000 likes?
It was over 6 months. Yeah.
I got 2 quick questions. You asked for 100K, you didn't tell us about your equity.
Okay.
So what's the ask on the equity? And the second question I have is around your exit strategy. Like, how do you like to go forward with your follow-up funding?
Okay.
Do you see a need for follow-up funding? And if you do, then afterwards, what's your exit strategy?
Good question. Okay. So I'm asking for 100,000 here for in turn for 10% equity.
10%.
Right. 10%. And as for follow-up strategy is, we're going to do a few rounds, definitely, right, as a social network to gather the amount of funds to keep things going and keep things moving, right? So our next round of funding would come up when we have about 20,000, 30,000 followers, and we already have a venture capital company.
Why would you need that second round of funding? Because if you have built the product, are you going to add features to that? Are you going to, what's the need for the fund?
We have no needs as projected, okay. But as the market has spoken, it's necessarily what happens. Facebook has done it, Instagram has done it. And
right. So you're going to go in the loop of funding until you really hit a big user base.
So eventually, so how it usually works is that there's a seed round, there's an A round, B round, C round, IPO.
Hello? Hi. Yeah. Sure, no, that makes sense. Yeah, Yeah, no, I can deliver that news, yeah. Yeah. No problem at all. I will do. Thanks. Ravi.
Yes.
Okay, so the investment partner, like myself, really likes your idea. The only thing is, this is the last episode.
Yeah.
There's only one more ticket left, the fast track ticket to the final.
Okay.
What he wants to do, he wants to hear the other contestant.
Okay.
And then he's going to decide which one of you are going to get that fast track ticket.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So, for the time being, just hold tight. We'll wait for the other contestant to come.
Yep.
And we'll listen to their pitch. And we'll get you both back on and we'll let you know which one of you get the fast track ticket to the final.
Great. I look forward to the drama.
That's great. No.
Great pitch. Thank you.
Well done. Great.
Very interesting product.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Keep it up.
Yep.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Very
kind of on
cool.
the fence. I actually didn't know.
Well, I like his product.
Yeah,
Really?
if I was still in
there's some big
school,
value.
I definitely think I would be using that product.
I don't completely understand how the user growth is going to grow. And he's got 300 users. I just need to understand, like, comes back to your question. Is it happening, or has he just been stuck with 300 beta?
If it was a steady growth, or if it was like just
But
initial
why
likes.
limit it just to university students?
It doesn't have to.
That's my
He's
thing.
not,
I'm not
though.
worried about the user.
I think,
He's not,
I
guys.
think that's a starting point.
It's a
Yeah, that's what
starting
I'm saying,
point.
yeah. That's
it's
my
a starting
thing.
point.
If he
That's a
starts
great-
now,
don't you
and then
think-
it evolves after 3-4 years, these students graduate, they move into a working place, they're working downtown.
I think it's
that kind of-
clever that he's picked a niche. Like, it's awful when you have a product where you're like, oh, I'm going to sell it to everyone right when I start.
But
Here
then
he's...
And he has a
it's gonna
great
grow into
model.
something like Foursquare, isn't it?
So, it is, but
Yeah.
I think with Foursquare you don't have the picture uploads. Like, so his one's a Foursquare meets Instagram,
Meets Google Maps,
meets Google
kind of.
Maps. It's kind of it's all three merged into one
intersecting all
with the
of it.
layering. If he
And I
can
don't-
partner up with Google well, and he can put layers onto the current Google mapping system with people's where they are, what they're doing in a friend's circle, that
still
would
on
be
the
pretty
fence.
clever.
I'm so on the fence.
With people's where they are, what they're doing in a friend's
Making you wait.
That anticipation.
Yeah, making you wait.
Definitely. We'll see. What do you think?
Good pitch. You did very well. And I think the same questions I asked from you, they were asking the same thing. So what shop? How am I going to bring the money in?
I'm backstage with Harish and Pragash's family. They're just about to pitch. Nandan, how do you think your sons are going to do today?
I'm very proud of my sons, Prakash and Harish. They work on very hard. I think they do very well today.
Okay, well, we wish them the best of luck. Let's see how they do.
So our mission at Curable is to make healthcare more affordable and accessible to all in a timely manner. And we're doing that with the help of a wearable that we built from scratch.
We're trying to build a wearable to manage your stress and effectively improve your livelihood in the workplace.
So I'm the hardware engineer on the team. So while I was working at Sick Kids Hospital, I was working on many hardware-related projects, such as the device for autistic children. And currently at Bombardier, I also work as a hardware engineer developing devices for employees that are working on the tracks.
What motivated me was my grandma's sister passed away in hospital in Scarborough. She died for 4 hours before the hospital staff found out she died. So my brother came up with an idea to fix that problem, and we decided to create a wearable device that monitors the patient's vital signs and allows the doctors and nurses to know that something abnormal is happening with that patient in that room. So we started with that, and we ended up over here with the stress management band called the PAL, and then a triage band that's for the hospitals.
A certain individual that inspires me a lot is my father. He's pretty passionate about his work, and I try to instill some of that passion in some of the work I do myself and trying to build a company. Hard work goes a long way, so just trying to keep up with them, I guess.
We have a great team. We have a great idea, which we're ready to launch, and we're almost there. So we need that extra push from the incubator to help us get to where we need to. And we're funding this project from scratch. The three of us are working full-time jobs and funding it from scratch. And I think we're at the stage where we exhausted all of our resources and we want to get to the next level. And in order to get to the next level, we need some push from an external source. And I think this is the best way for us to get to where we want to be at.
Well, it looks like it's a family-oriented episode today. Our next contestants are two brothers, Harish and Prakash. How do you feel?
I'm feeling pretty confident I want to kill this.
I feel short, but I think we're going to do pretty well today.
All right, well, good luck, and we wish you the best.
Thank you.
The Nantakumar brothers enter the launch pad with a device that can one day save your life. Will the judges save their pitch with a fast track to the finals?
Hi guys, welcome to Launchpad.
Thank you, welcome.
Let's hear about Curable. Is that how you pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Curable?
Curable.
We're trying to cure people.
Okay, curable. Got it. Go for it.
All right, so my name is Harish.
And I'm Prakash.
And we're two of the three co-founders at Curable. And we're here asking for $512,000 for a 15% stake in our company, Curable.
So our mission at Curable is to make healthcare more affordable and accessible to all in a timely manner. And we see that healthcare today is a luxury for most people in the world today, and we want to make it a necessity.
So our story started off about a year and a half ago when my grandma's sister passed away at a hospital in Scarborough. And so she passed away for 4 hours before the hospital staff found out that she passed away. And from that, we found out that there was an immediate problem that needed to be solved. And so we took this task on.
So we have two products in the pipeline.
Sorry to interrupt. Your grandmother passed away in the hospital or at home?
At the hospital. Grandma's sister, she passed away at the hospital for 4 hours.
And the hospital staff didn't know
They
about
didn't know.
They didn't know.
Okay, go ahead.
That's terrible.
So we currently have two products in our pipeline. The first product that we released was because to solve the problem that my grandma had at the hospital, which is the triage band. So we created a device that acts like a check engine light for the human body. So it studies your vital signs and triggers off abnormalities in your vitals. So the second device is a device that we have in our hands today. It's PAL. That's a stress management band that we created to, I guess, target people like us who have a 9-to-5 job, who have wives, husbands, children, and who are from the working class.
All right, so you guys are probably wondering how we're actually doing all that in these small devices. And for that, we have a quick demo. Hi, my name is Harish, and I'm a co-founder at Curable. I'm going to give you guys a quick demo of the product today. So the device consists of 3 sensors that can monitor your ECG, temperature, stress sensor to ensure that we eliminate false positives and produce true positive results. In terms of the actual hardware, we have 3 layers of accuracies and predefined thresholds that send alerts when abnormal behavior is detected. Currently, we have a low-powered Bluetooth module which sends data to the phone. The casing that we're using is a 3D printed silicone prototype that we designed and printed. We managed to increase the battery life on the prototype from 3 days to 7 days. And we're also working on ways to eliminate the downtimes on the device. And that pretty much wraps up the demo. And give us a shout if you guys have further questions. All right, and so the next demo we have right now is for the PAL, which we're wearing right now on our wrist. It's a PAL stress band. And so this is just a quick demo of that. So the PAL band, what it does is it's a device that helps eliminate and prevent you from reaching your boiling point and reduce your stress levels either in the workplace or at home. And so these are just some of the slides, like the initialization screens to study you, to see where you live and your home address and everything.
So essentially what we want to do with PAL is it's a stress management device that we're using to help manage your day-to-day and increase your productivity.
I was actually working till 11 p.m. at my job, and I was getting stressed out because I had a project due the next day. And so what happened was I was almost reaching my boiling point and I was getting really stressed out. And so my brother got a trigger in the background from the device through the app, and he connected with me and tried to calm me back down so he can help me, so that I can actually get through my project that I was due the next day. And so with the PAL system, we feel that we're able to create a system that allows your close family and your friends to communicate with you, to help you get through your activities and make you a more productive person on a day-to-day basis.
So there's 2 fronts on how we're going to enter the market. The first front is we're going to go commercial. We're partnering with Deloitte to go after the commercial side of the business. So Deloitte currently has an offer on the table with us for the mining sector. So we're going to be
the mining sector?
For the mining sector.
Is it a letter of intent or a?
It's pretty much a letter of intent, yeah.
Okay.
So they want to take on the I guess, commercial side of the business. But that's another separate thing that we're doing. So the other front that we're targeting is the consumer front, and for that we're going to release the PAL device through the market through a crowdfunding campaign. And we feel that a crowdfunding campaign is the best way for us to reach the market, and because this device is a device that resonates with the people that purchase stuff on crowdfunding campaigns.
Have you started the crowdfunder?
We have started. We haven't gone live with it. We pushed it back.
Okay.
Couple of questions. So the only revenue model is through sales?
So revenue model.
By selling the units?
Device, yeah. So we have a 500% margin on this device.
How much?
So revenue model.
By selling the units?
Device, yeah. So we have a 500% margin on this device.
How much?
500% margin on this device.
And what's the retail?
So retail is $149.99.
Really? $149.
And where's it being manufactured?
So that's the thing. So it's costing us about $15 to manufacture in Canada. So if you
we haven't even outsourced it to China yet.
We haven't outsourced it to China. So when we outsource,
but you do know as soon as you outsource to, unless you have IP, even if you did, you'll get the Chinese market replicating your device.
Yeah, for sure. That's why we're not going that route yet until we get protected.
Okay.
Right, so are you? Sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Are you storing the data or transferring the data in any way? Can you download the data?
Yeah, it's being stored in real time. So it's being transferred to our database in real time.
And can it be viewed by the client as well?
Yeah. Everything's happening in real time, and we send alerts in real time. So it's onboard. So it works in two ways. It works as a standalone device. So if you're stuck in the middle of the desert and you're panicking or you're sick, it works because we have onboard computing that could understand you and study you.
So how is that communicating? Like data?
It's through Bluetooth.
To your phone?
To your smartphone.
But then out in the desert, Bluetooth doesn't work. So it's going to send it to your phone. How would you notify an ambulance?
So we're not at that stage yet where we connect it to an ambulance, but that's where we want to go essentially, right? So it's going to be connected through the backend, so doctors and nurses and pharmacists could see the data in real time and act in a proactive way.
Do you have a health science background, either one of you?
So I did my undergrad in biomedical engineering at Ryerson University, and then I did my master's at Ryerson as well. And I previously worked on a project for Sick Kids Hospital, when I was working there for autistic kids.
So what are you raising money for? Is it for triage or for PAL right now?
So we're raising money to launch the campaign, the crowdfunding campaign.
But this the money that you're asking for, right? That's for the PAL product?
So it comes together, right? We're investing money
in the company itself. It'll be kind of between both.
Split between the two, but it's primarily going to be used towards PAL because. So essentially, we started off with the triage band. The reason we had to go to the PAL band is because the triage band is a medical device. So in order for us to introduce a medical device for a doctor to take action on, we need to get FDA approval, Health Canada approval in Canada. So in order to finance that effort, we're releasing a lifestyle device that we could pay and fund ourselves instead of going out and spending a lot of money and waiting for the process to get through.
Have you looked at how much money you need for FDA approval for triage?
So the last time we spoke to a consultant here in Canada, not for FDA, but just for Health Canada, $700,000 just for the triage band.
Why are you not pitching for $700,000 to launch that instead of going the long way around and trying to sell your...
Because we see that there's a huge market in this aspect as well, in the stress band. There's a huge market for us to capture in the stress, in the lifestyle market.
Sorry, going back to the stress, what data are you collecting to identify the levels of stress?
So he's going to answer.
So how we're going to do that is we have two sensors on board, the temperature and the GSR sensor.
Okay.
So the GSR sensor measures how stressful you are. So if I'm getting stressed out right now, I'll start to precipitate on I'll start to sweat on the surface of my skin, and that sensor, the GSR sensor, will pick that up through a voltage change that happens, and that sensor changes the stress level and changes the voltage output. And then we also have a temperature sensor on there as well. So if you're getting stressed out, your temperature also fluctuates. And those are some of the two.
So all this hardware, this hardware that you're speaking about, all these sensors and everything is costing you only $15?
Yeah.
The biggest thing on the device is the Bluetooth device, because we built it from scratch. We're not buying any. The Bluetooth is the only thing that we had to buy on the shelf.
To transmit the data?
Everything else is built from scratch.
Right, so my question to you is, if your cost is only $15, the barrier to entry is buying a couple of sensors and hooking up together.
So we never bought any sensors. Everything's built from scratch.
But in order to replicate this?
In order to replicate, yeah, for sure.
The sensors that you're talking about for the temperature and the sweat level, is that your own? You have IP on that?
We created that from scratch, yeah.
Do you have IP on that?
We're working on that right now.
Because the problem not the problem, but one thing I'm wondering about is that, you know, the biggest tech firm out there that makes cell phones, etc. right now that everyone knows, they're making watches, iWatch and things like that, right? What's there to say that they cannot just quickly the next next device they come out with doesn't have your.
This is the only question that we never prepared for when we came on the show.
Yeah,
I was kidding. So this question that you're asking is true because we're not going after the same market as an Apple Watch or a Fitbit. We're going after the health tech market, and the two biggest competitors in our for us is a company called Scanadu and a company called CloudDX. Those are the two biggest competitors for us. The difference is we could do everything they do on your wrist, pretty much, essentially.
Because I actually quite like the triage.
I like the triage.
I really like the triage concept you've got because I can see it being used in hospitals globally. But at the moment, in the UK, for instance, people that are hooked up to machines and things like that, and when vital signs drop, the nurse that's actually in the ward will be notified and attention is taken straight away to them, to the person.
Right.
That's,
we have
dropped.
devices, but they're all on demand. Like people have to either wear them and press the button and get notified and things like that. But the only thing that's really interesting for me is your sensor that you have IP on it. Is it the sensor itself, or is it the algorithm that determines that the stress level is shooting up? How you play around with that data? Where do you have your IP on?
So we do have algorithms. For example, for the triage band, we have algorithms that can detect if you're about to have a heart attack. It can detect a couple of minutes before that you're about to, like, say for example, you're driving on the highway.
How do you tell that? Like what?
So yeah, we have three sensors on board. We have three sensors on board that measure your temperature, stress, and your heart rate, and your oxygen levels.
Right.
And from that, we can study what happens. So before you.
But how much of data are you analyzing? Your watch is or your gadget is not Blue Genie. You're not running a mainframe processing. Even IBM cannot figure out when somebody's going to have a heart attack.
It's not like that though, right? We have thresholds so the longer you wear the device, the smarter it becomes. So what happens is we define a threshold for what's the normal state for you. When it breaches that threshold, we're not telling you have a heart attack. We're telling you, hey, look, something's abnormal is happening to you. Go check. Check that out. So it's up to you to make that assessment. If that's we're not telling you have a heart attack, but we're saying chances are in our situation it's going to be a heart attack.
You actually, it's quite a. I understand where they're coming from.
So we're pretty much trying.
You're taking an average read over length of time, understanding the customer. And then as soon as something spikes, the customer gets notified of something abnormal, and then they can go and see themselves.
So right now we're at that stage, but we want to get to the stage where the doctor is behind the thing. So we pitched to a lot of hospitals. So we're closely working with Lake Ridge Health Sciences. So we spoke to the CEO of Lake Ridge Health, Kevin Empey, and he told us the biggest challenge, the biggest reason why he wants this device, the triage band, in the hospital is that patients come in and out of the emergency rooms, and the emergency rooms in Canada are crowded. The reason it's crowded is not because patients are waiting until it gets very bad for them to come in. So the hospital wanted a way for us to be more proactive in that the hospital will call the patient in before it gets to a bad state.
So it's pretty much like a check engine light for your cars, right?
So can I just, sorry, the data that I'm curious about it, back to that. So you're getting this data, but it's over a long period of time. Where are you storing this data, and how, and who's, like, is there analytics on this? Like,
yeah, we are running analytics on it. There's algorithms running on the back. So there's onboard computing, and we're saving it in real time in our database. So there's analytics being run, and there's algorithms being run on the back.
So I'll just give you my 2 cents on that. Just personally, I'm not really sold on the PAL product as much. I do like the triage one. The reason I'll say is that there's so many wearables you have now. Like I use a product called Lumo Lift, which helps me keep my back straight. I love that product. I don't have to wear it here. I wear it right now as a spot on my back, right? But I don't want another device. That's just a personal opinion. I'd love the data, but I would like that incorporated into something that does a million other things for me.
So let me tell you this then. If I was to tell you the PAL, would you wear a wearable if it would help lower your insurance rate? Your car insurance rate?
I'm not opposed to the idea that it does that, but I don't like the fact that it's an individual device that does that.
That's true.
Right?
How much of validation have you done to your database? Like, who's going to bless that data? How can I trust that? And also, along the same lines, what about false positive alarms?
So that's why we have multiple sensors on board. So they work in combination with each other, and we have algorithms that help prevent that from happening.
What's your algorithm on that? Like how many sensors, like for example, for the temperature one, how many sensors do you have for the temperature?
So for the temperature, we just have for the temperature sensor alone, or?
Yeah, so how we determine the temperature?
How do you reduce your false positives?
So we built individual sensors to measure your temperature, your blood pressure, your ECG.
But how do you correlate them? Say, if you have one sensor, and if that sensor is behaving bad,
I think he's saying that they're going to measure.
You're getting bad information. It'll be better if you can have 5 sensors of the same type and have some sort of algorithm to knock one of them out, because you feel that that's not detecting the right data.
So you're saying 5 temperature sensors instead?
Yeah. Like how can you
No, because I think here
they're normalizing the data.
Yeah.
They're normalizing the data. So they
if
take it over a period of time. Therefore, that's the normal state of what your temperature is.
It's a moving average. It's actually a moving average, right? Yeah. So the longer you wear it, your average becomes more and more narrower.
Yeah.
Right. So we start you off over here, and then we target you onto this narrow average, and that's how we could define what your limits are. And based on those limits, we send out thresholds and understand.
It's one sensor, but it's taking multiple points of data. It's not just one point of data, right? So
what we're going to do, we need about 5 minutes. If you'd like to just go off stage, we'll have a conversation right now, us guys, and we'll invite you back on and go from there.
All right, okay. Thank you.
Yeah?
Great.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for giving us that time to just talk about Curable. It's an awesome product. I don't know if you know, as this is the last episode of the actual show of the season, you're pitching against another contestant at the moment because there's only one fast track ticket left for the final. So we're going to invite the other contestant back out right now, and we'll make that decision. The investment partner will let us know of his decision very, very quickly. Okay, so can we ask the last contestant to come out? Ravi? Welcome back, Ravi. So initially, I just want to kind of give you both teams here, or both contestants, some feedback. I think we're all in agreement. You guys have absolutely phenomenal products here. Curable, you guys, I love your product. There's a little bit of deliberation here on the panel, but I think both of you, you especially on the end, you're awesome. It's health, which is really hit big at the moment. It's it's trending everywhere. Everyone wants to know about their health and vital signs and things like that. Ravi, Mappian, again, awesome product. It's what it is. It says what it is. It does amazing things.
I think I'm a bit iffy on the Curable one.
You're iffy on Curable?
Yeah.
So this is the deliberation.
Yeah, 2 sensors, $15. Your IP is still in progress. You don't have anything solid. The algorithms are of your own. It's easily, anyone can, big boys like Microsoft, IBM, they're all about sensors and big data and analytics, can crush you easily.
I like both products. I'm not sold on the PAL. I feel like you're going to waste cycles on that. Meanwhile, Triage, I think, is a more promising opportunity. Maybe then I love as well.
1 second, guys. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, both sets of contestants are here. Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, I'll tell them. Sure, thanks.
Before you relay, let me clarify this with Curable guys. Your ask is 512 for 15%?
Sorry, 525 for 15.
15, okay.
15.
Yeah.
15.
Got it.
Okay.
That's a lot of money.
And you're planning to make...
For a product of $15 to make?
Yeah, 500%,
right.
Did you say?
Sorry?
You said the margins were 500%?
Right now it is 500%. We're going to drop it down to be a little bit for the campaign, Kickstarter campaign. So we're going to price it at $100. So less than what Fitbit. So your Fitbit, how much do you think it costs?
Fitbit?
They were early in. You can't compare it to Fitbit.
It's a different market,
addictive
though, right?
technology.
So it's a different market. It's just they strapped on a bunch of sensors, like accelerometer, which costs $6. They don't even have a Bluetooth on it, right? The most expensive thing on our device is the Bluetooth, which costs like $12.
About Mappian. Now,
yes.
I actually think your product's pretty good. I actually have a product which is going to be hitting the market and beginning of next year, especially around hyperlocal activity. So I understand your marketplace is awesome, but I'm concerned that you're limiting it just for students.
Yeah,
you know, to me, that's my concern. Like, I think you've got huge pull.
Well,
for
I think
the global audience.
That's the whole point, is to have focus when in launch. Have a significant launch strategy, right? We're targeting students because it's a market I understand, I can enter into easily, and it can validate quickly, right? This is a market that everyone has a phone, everyone identifies technology, and they're looking for new things to connect with all the time. So this is the way into a marketplace.
But Mike, this is the thing, Ravi, sorry to interrupt. Now, I went back, in your pitch, I said about Instagram and about their geotagging system.
Definitely.
All they need to do is make the parameters much more smaller to get specific areas, you know, in a zone, to get pictures to a localized point, which basically is a replication of what you're doing.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But I'm talking, like, the way I look at it from the user's point of view. The end user, when you're looking, especially university students from 17 to 24, they use, on an average, about 6 different social networks, each of them for specific use. Instagram, when you think about it, the brand is what? Personal identity, right? Your photo filtering. We're branding ourselves very specifically for what's happening around you. Connect locally, globally, right? So it's about that brand and the awareness. Yes, there are apps that can do everything on. You can do that on Facebook as well, tag your location. But what we're different on is that we're not just telling people, oh, connect, this is what's happening in this location. We're connecting people to other people through locations, right? So it's a network on a map, right? It's very different from just tagging things on something.
So you want this to be layered on Google Maps, don't you?
We're working with Google Maps exclusively right now because of our partnership with them. Well, we are done with layering with their internal mapping softwares.
What kind of a partnership is that? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, we work with them directly to upload floor plans for different university structures, right, on campus buildings. So if you go on Google Maps right now, go at UTSC, UFT, Centennial College, you see by floor of different buildings, the rooms, the hallways, and that's what we've done.
And he mentioned that he wanted to be able to present relatable information based on that geolocation. So it's not just showing you where one attribute is, but then related events and things like that, with that one geolocation, correct?
Exactly, yeah. All right.
Okay.
So just one more question. I like that now. So, but what you said.
Relatable.
If I'm driving using Google Maps and I'm going past an event that's taking place that people checked into, can I receive a notification possibly?
That's exactly what we want to get into, right? I want to target, what I want people to be able to do eventually is, imagine this downtown. Imagine you're driving around, you're bored, or you're trying to walk around, or you're trying to go somewhere, you're delayed, right? Wherever. What if you get notifications saying that, hey, there's a fair happening here, right? Just deviate around the way. That's what Google's actually working on, right? Smart driving, right? It's not just, oh, how to get from point A to point B, but how to get there while enjoying something. That's the kind of data that we can solve.
Okay.
That's the differentiator.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for that extra bit of information. The investment partner called, as you heard, and he's made his decision.
Okay.
And the decision basically is he actually likes both of your ideas, and as you know, as I mentioned previously, only one fast track ticket is available. But because of both ideas are great, and I think there's a bit of deliberation on the board between the advisors as well. I think he's picked up on that as well.
Okay.
And what he would like to do is offer both of you the fast track tickets to go to the final. So he wants both of you guys in the final, and I think both have great products, and he said it himself, and all three of you are just highly investable people, right? So congratulations. Both of you guys, all three of you are in the final together.
Yeah.
So congrats, and we'll see you in the final.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Well, that makes us happy too.
Yeah, that's great.
We don't have to keep arguing for hours.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. That was great. Fantastic.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Is it biomedical engineering?
Congratulations.
Very nice.
Congratulations.
We'll see you in
We've
the
met
final.
before, yeah.
This guy's a great
Yeah.
Well done. December 6th. See you then.
Perfect.
That's great.
Take care, guys.
Good stuff. All right.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Because I was till you said that, I'm like, oh.
I
It's a loss if one of these folks
there were
walks
so many
out.
good elements of each pitch, and they both did such a really good job of it.
And it was like apples and oranges. You want the apple, you want the orange. Like, don't make me choose, you know?
Before the finals, a lot of fun.
Yeah? I think not just that. I think every finalist now has to up their game. I think both these guys, for example, they both need to do a bit more research on what's on the marketplace
and cons.
as well.
Have to work on their cons, right?
And highlight their pros.
And highlight their pros.
Even further.
And their differentiators. Because I think that was the hard part for us.
And I think the final is full of talent.
Yes.
You know,
oh my
because
God.
that talent
if we can't choose between these two, imagine.
Yeah.
Once you put in everyone else.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Wow, what a crazy episode. Both sets of contestants have taken the fast track ticket to the final round. Team Curable, how do you feel right now?
I'm feeling pretty happy, and I'm also feeling happy that we both made it on to the next round.
How about you?
Those lines, but yeah, thank you. It was good.
And how about you, Team Mappian?
I'm happy, I'm excited, I can't wait to move forward. But I'm especially happy that we both made it, so we actually grew up on the same street, and I'm excited to be moving forward with them.
Small world. Congratulations to both teams, and we'll see you in the final round. Well, that was certainly an intense episode. The last two teams have both taken home the fast track ticket to the final round. Who will win next and who won't? I'm your host, Ashwini Ravindran. Thanks for watching.
Set furnishing provided by Living Furniture, Kennedy and Lawrence, Scarborough.